You can't over plan. You have to let those little things come. You have to let a big Frank flower in this book. You have to let the Norwegian, when he comes, flower. Because this book, I think, took me 9 months to write. Um, it took me 17 months to write. I remember 17 months to the day to write A Norwegian in the Family. It took me about 9 months to write this book. And over the course of those 9 months, things will happen. Uh, when I wrote another book recently, I had accidentally hit a deer that popped out onto the road, a little baby deer, and I killed it. And that became in a later book an opening epigraph or a part of the book that would not have happened had that I not hit that deer. Um, the same thing with a spy book that I did. I think I used an epigraph about this cat that ran out into the middle of the highway, and I had no way, because I had cars on either side, that I could swerve to not hit the cat. And as a cat lover, that really gutted me. So you have, but little things will happen. I might have heard something listening to this Amber Heard Johnny Depp bullshit trial. I might, some boss or someone at work does something stupid. Jessica says something offhandedly to me. I go to a store, and I see some woman arguing with some clerk at a store and being a real bitch or something, and those things become the seeds for other interactions. I was just, for example, working today on this play on Robinson Jeffers, and you've probably, if you've read any of my essays, you probably know who Lauren Isley is. I've often praised his writing as a science writer. And one of the fortuitous things was Robinson Jeffers actually met Lauren Isley in 1929. So I dramatized this scene of these two similar type thinkers about nature and whatnot in this play. Had I not stumbled upon that passage, I would never have known that Lauren Isley had met Robinson Jeffers. And so these kinds of things lend themselves to the making of the art.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I've heard some people go about it that way. Some people, it's just interesting the different writing styles people use when they approach a novel. One moment. Speaking of art, I have a quote for you from. Let me find it real quick. I had to do this on my phone. Let's see, about creation and destruction. This really, when I read this is it's like you were reading my mind. Where are you? Come on, come back. Here we go. Okay, I'll tell you the line. I would argue not. At the beginning of the paragraph, it's about 3/4 through the book. Thus, wherever you are reading this book, a mere few years or decades after it was written, or centuries or eons, is that enough for you to find it?
Oh, okay. You want me to look at? Let me see here. So,
You don't have to. I can read it.
No, that's fine. Give me what is the first 3 or 4 words?
Thus, whether you are reading this book.
Thus, whether you are reading. And I have typos. Thus, whether you and my multiple typos. So is thus, does it have a comma after it?
Yeah, sorry. Thus, comma, whether you are reading this book.
Okay, thus whether you're reading this book. Okay, so that is on, let's see, page 573. It is but a dim memory of whatever life of descendants lead out of the stars, these facts will remain. And it should be stated that while this book is a book on crime, in large part is not a genre of crime novel. Its main characters are criminals merely because I wanted to write a book on 3 brothers I once knew in real life, but whose final outcomes were unknown to me, so I had to dig into their lives and construct support eventualities for their existences. Okay, yeah, so go on. So I got it.
Right. Okay, got it. So about halfway down that, you're talking about the criminals and these mobsters and whatnot, and then you say right before you quote the Third Man movie, which I saw 2 years ago. It was a really good movie. Yeah. I'm glad that you like that too. Yes, these are not particularly nice people, but to that reader, eons and light years removed from my time, I ask you, have we eliminated these sorts of humans from our gene pool? Even more fundamentally, should we, even if we can? And then I would argue not, for the same thing that drives mankind to war also fires creativity. In essence, one cannot greatly create without destroying. In the process of communicating something to another in the most effective form possible, A great artist decodes and resynthesizes the cosmos to be more easily and beneficially understood by the percipient. And then you go into the third man. I think that's fascinating. Again, sometimes it feels like you're echoing inside my head. I mean, maybe it's been said 1,000 times. I've got no idea if you came up with it first, but the whole you cannot create without destroying.
Well, it's not original to me. Yeah, it's not original to me. But I should state, though, that within the individual, that isn't in general. For example, that doesn't mean that a great artist has to be a great destroyer. Just that as a species, the same impulse that will drive a Hitler to genocide, to drive a Ted Bundy to manic murder, or a Jack the Ripper, that will drive someone to be a sociopath in their own little realm, their own office where they work, and destroy relationships or whatnot. That same drive, in a positive sense, can lead to great creativity. I'm not saying that Ted Bundy could have been Stanley Kubrick, or that Walt Whitman could have been a mass murderer.
Right. I think it's interesting, though, because if you're an artist, you have all these monuments before you, these dead white males, whoever it is, all these artists before you, and some of them did it really well, some of them didn't, and there's some contemporaries who are doing it really poorly, and so it's almost necessary. It seems like good art to me should be pissing people off on some level. It seems like it's almost inevitable.
You don't have to juvenilely try to piss people off. I don't know if you saw, but Alex Sheramet and I did this show a few months ago on Jordan Peterson and whatnot, and I usually don't comment anymore on videos, or if I do, they're just minor ones. But I don't comment on my own Cosmoetica YouTube videos. But these people who follow someone like a Jordan Peterson, they're mindless idiots. And yet, so I think, well, I'm gonna just take. They'll write these nasty little comments or whatnot, but they watch maybe 2 minutes of it, and because you're not kissing Jordan Peterson's ass, they'll go off. And of course, there were like 3 other people we took on, but it's 98% Jordan Peterson comments, because these people, they're part of a cult, and they're too stupid to even realize that they're a part of a cult. And that's the lowest common denominator that you have to deal with. But you don't try to piss these kinds of people off. These people will be pissed off because they want you to think alike. The same way that the right wing here in this country that wants to take away the right to an abortion for women wants to, they're not trying to necessarily piss people off, but there are people that do these malefactive things, and if you call people out on it, whether it's a political thing, whether it's about following a guru like this Jordan Peterson, they're going to be angry. Well, fuck them. If they're not smart enough to understand what they have fallen into, have been easily preyed upon by someone like this Jordan Peterson, or some of these right-wing people. I mean, when I was 16, 17, I remember I walked several times, but one particular time sticks in my mind. This girl that I think I mentioned in True Life, this prostitute I knew who had gotten pregnant. She wanted, and it wasn't my child, but I took her to an abortion clinic, and this big fat white guy, probably 45, 50 years old, they had blood on these little fucking Barbie dolls or whatever the fuck they had, and he comes yelling, screaming at her, wanting to douse her with the ketchup, and I fucking took my foot and fucking kicked him down 5 or 6 stairs. And this is one of the things is that, well, we're getting off. The people on the liberal side or the progressive side, they don't have the balls to stand up for their rights. And one of the reasons that we're going to probably lose the right to an abortion through the Supreme Court, although I think that'll fire people up, that within a year or two, most states will have amendments and get it back, the right to abortion, is because people, you have to fight in this life for what is right and for what you consider rights, because there will always be people that will try to take things away from you, always be people that will try to limit things to only their group, and it's a non-stop battle. Now, hopefully in these eons and centuries that I mentioned in this passage, most dead white male types who are still breathing but are dead inside will finally realize that women, should and deserve to be treated equally, not because uh, it's chivalrous, but because they exist and they're thinking beings. But these people are the same people who don't see women as equals. They don't see non-white males as equals. They don't see if you prefer to suck a dick rather than lick a pussy. They don't see you as equal, and it's just nonsense. But there I go again.
Mm. Right. Yeah, no, I feel what you mean. I guess my only point about that, yeah, I understand the political part of it, but also the when I said pissing people off, I mean you're rocking the boat if you're doing something good in anything in art, or if you're doing a really good job of work,
Because it
you
inspires
might be
jealousy.
from the level.
It inspires jealousy, and you've probably seen. I've written about what I call the divine inspiration fallacy. Have you ever seen?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
people think, oh, and this gets back to free will. The Lord or some force out there. It just came to me. Even in looking up Robinson Jefferson and stuff. There's a lot of talk about it just came to me or something. No, your mind concocts it. It is all a part of you. There is no divine inspiration. It is all a part of you. That is what you are. And even if it comes to you on a subconscious or unconscious level, whichever term you prefer, it is still you. Your mind is still tilling that soil, whether you recognize it or not. You are the author. It doesn't come to you. No one is just going to automatically, be in a zombie state where they're doing automatic writing or they're painting, and no one's going to paint a fucking masterpiece like Rembrandt just because oh, Shiva has taken my body and now I can't control my hand, and oh, there it is. I painted a Rembrandt type masterpiece. It doesn't happen that way.